How's it going? On a rainy Tuesday, we had 2 days of sunshine. Thankful for those, but now it's gone. Today, East Coast Pete is going to look at just the most incredible artist that I've come across during my research for you. I refer to Stephen John Wilson. He was born in 1967, so not a boomer, but not a millennial, but what's in between? Gen X. Yeah. But Steve's no typical Xer. He's an English prog rocker with Porcupine Tree and now a solo progger. He's a self-taught composer, a producer, a multi-instrumentalist, and has influences from psychedelia, pop metal, electronica, and jazz. He has worked with Anathema, Roxy Music, Tears for Fears, Marillion, Fish with an F, Yes, Andy Partridge of XTC, Jethro Tull, Pendulum, King Crimson, and Opeth. But he is not considered mainstream. Is there such a thing as mainstream anymore? Who's that, like Lady Gaga? Taylor Swift? Beyonce? Sure there is, Pete. Wilson's a Londoner. His childhood in Hertfordshire, discovered an interest in music at the age of 8. 2 albums in his parents' record collection had a profound effect on him then. These were Dark Side of the Moon and Donna Summer's Love to Love You Baby. At a later time, his father, who was an electrician, actually an electrical engineer, built him a home studio with a multi-track tape machine and a vocoder, which is an early form of an analog to digital audio compressor. Stephen had no use for the 80s bands like U2, preferring the music from 67 to 77 that he called the Great Album Era, from Sgt. Pepper through punk. At 15, Steve formed a psychedelic duo with Simon Vokings called Altamont. They made one cassette album, Prayer for the Soul, featuring lyrics by Alan Duffy, a face in the underground scene. Some of this music would become Porcupine Tree songs. This Long Silence and It Will Rain for a Million Years. Steve, besides Altamont, was in a prog rock band, Karma, which played locally in Hertfordshire and recorded 2 cassette albums, The Joke's on You in 83 and The Last Man to Laugh in 85. These contained early versions of Small Fish, 9 Cats, and The Joke's on You, which would also appear on Porcupine Tree recordings. His next band was a new wave / album-oriented band, Pride of Passion, as a keyboardist, replacing Brian Gelliman, who had been with Marillion. Pride Goes Before a Fall. They changed the name to Blazing Apostles and burned out in 87. Up until that time, Wilson's musical experiments were avant-garde and industrial. He decided it was time to try pop. Concurrently with Blazing Saddles, he was working on his own projects. The first of these was called No Man is an Island, except the Isle of Man. He shortened it to No Man. Singer/lyricist Tim Browness joined No Man in 1987. And the second project was Porcupine Tree with Malcolm Stocks. This was an all-out psychedelic rock project at first. The next 3 years saw both projects evolve. No Man released a commercial single, The Girl from Missouri, on Plastic Head Records, and Porcupine Tree was popular with the underground through cassettes released on the Freak Emporium, which is the mail-order branch of Delirium Records. In 1990, No Man was an art rock trio, and the single was a Donovan cover of his Colors in dub/loop style. And this was enough to land a deal with One Little Indian, an indie label known for the work of the Shamans and Jork. Days in the Trees was the first single on the label for No Man, and it charted, bringing cred and cash for studio equipment. By this time, Wilson released the first Porcupine Tree album on the Sunday of Life. No Man's first full EP was Love Size and Entertainment, followed by another Porcupine Tree single, Voyage 34. No Man toured England as a six-piece band with parts played by Art Rockers, Japan, Mike Karn, Steve Jansen, and Richard Barbieri. Then in 1993, it saw Porcupine Tree's Up the Down Stair and No Man's Love Blows and Love Cries, A Confession. Porcupine Tree toured, becoming a well-known rock band with albums on major labels Atlantic and Roadrunner. Wilson was now in demand as a producer. He did so with Opeth. Steve also contributed guitar and backing vocals for 3 Opeth albums, Blackwater Park, Deliverance, and Damnation. And the Porcupine Tree album, Fear of a Blank Planet, in 5.1 surround sound, was nominated for a Grammy. Wilson has remixed the back catalogs of Jethro Tull and King Crimson, and Marillion's Misplaced Childhood from 1985. He remixed In the Land of Grey and Pink by Caravan, the XTC album None Such, and The Power and the Glory and Octopus by Gentle Giant, and 5 Yes albums. I imagine that you all know that to remaster an album, you get the original tapes and you take them back in the studio, and you find ways of updating the quality, the crispness, the punch, the groove. You do everything you can. And apparently, Mr. Wilson could do quite a bit. Here are his solo albums. 1, Insurgent in 08. Harmony, Corinne, Abandoned, Salvaging Venero Para as Jesus, No Twilight, Within the Courts of the Sun, Significant Other, Only Child, Twilight Coda, and Get All You. Deserve Insurgents. I think I meant to say Get All You Deserve, comma, Insurgents. Am I confusing you? 2, Grace for Drowning in 2011. This is bombastic as hell, with interludes of soft jazz just here and there and everywhere. The Raven That Refused to Sing and Other Stories went in 2013, and Hand Cannot Erase in 2015. Oh my God, what an album that is. Yep, you saved rock. Not only are you a hero, you are my hero, Mr. Wilson. 5, To the Bone, and that went in 17. By the way, Wilson is a vegetarian, an atheist, fascinated by the subject of religion. He is anti-preaching, no tobacco, no recreational drugs, and occasional drink. He prefers to keep a low profile, following the examples of Radiohead, Pink Floyd, and Prince. Without Steven Wilson, modern progressive rock may not have ever happened.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And thank you very much. And I'll see you next time on How Rock is Saved.